Welcome to Funemployed. I'm James Daly, and on this channel I talk with self-employed creatives from all over the world, hear their stories, how they got to where they are today, and their advice for others. In today's video, I'm talking with Annie Kind. Now, Annie is a creative powerhouse. Right now, she works as a photographer, a digital marketer, a creative director, and she's in the middle of setting up her own print shop and her own agency. She's super inspiring. Check out her story now.
So my name's Annie. I'm based in Sydney, Australia. I primarily started as a photographer, completely self-taught, and then integrated my marketing background and started my own little business, specializing in digital marketing and creative direction.
Before you were doing everything you do now, what was your previous career? Were you working a 9 to 5? Did you go straight into photography and digital marketing? What's your background?
So I was at university. I was studying marketing at ICMS in Manly, and I was nannying at the time, actually. So I was doing nannying and studying just because it worked much better with what I was doing. And then, once I moved to London, so I deferred for a year to save money to go overseas and pretty much worked in anything that I could find, whether it was like at a bar, whether it was helping friends out with, events and things, or some marketing stuff with school, depending on what it was. And then I moved to London, and the rest is history. It's kind of when the love for photography began. My love affair with travel and photography and creating things. Because my career before my current career wasn't associated with what I was doing or studying. So I was actually dating someone at the time that does what I do now, but he'd been doing it for years. So he kind of took me on as he pretty much trained me up. He was like, I would love for you to take photos. Is that something you'd be interested in? So that was something we had together as like a cute little boyfriend girlfriend thing we would do. And then that's kind of how I fell in love with it. So I guess that prepared me for it because I was shooting for him and it was more of a hobby to begin with. But then I was signed with 2 different agencies when I was in London, creative agencies, and I was creating brand content for them. So that was kind of the practice, I guess, working with agencies and brands and I didn't really know I was learning things to progress me in what I was going to be doing when I got back to Australia. So I kind of accidentally fell into what I'm doing, I guess.
That's awesome, though. If it happened organically, you enjoy doing it.
Yeah,
It just happened. You would have done it anyway, yeah. Oh, that's great then. Okay, so when you came into Australia, what was that jump point like for you when you suddenly were doing it all for yourself? Do you remember how you felt? Was it scary? Was it natural? What were those first few clients or first few jobs like?
So I've always been a woman that if anything scares me, it actually excites me more. So I'll be like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. But then because I'm so intrigued by the challenge, then I somehow just jump into things. So when I got back to Australia, how did this all start? Pretty much I was offered a job with a marketing agency. And I hadn't really worked with a marketing agency doing scheduling or, working with web developers to help them with targeting ads or dissecting demographics or whatever it was. So that was my first taste in working with an agency rather than being a content creator. I was then working behind the scenes, helping them with current campaigns and things rather than creating content. So I was doing that. And while this was all going on, so my first client that I got for myself was they put up an Instagram story and they said, we're looking for an intern. Please let us know if this interests you. Anyway, I messaged them. I just said, I'm way past an intern level, but if you were ever needing help with your digital marketing or photography or creative direction side of things, let me know. And then we had an interview and then I went and shot some behind the scenes stuff for them at Chin Chin. And then the rest is history. I worked with them up until COVID hit. So, but I'm still very, very close with them and have been shooting the occasional job for them, which is great. But yeah, that was kind of my first taste of everything. Did that? I kind of went on a bit of a rant. Am I even answering the question?
No, that's great. That's actually really cool. And it's really cool that he backed your own skills. Like, I'm not an intern, but, I can, let
Yeah,
me know if I can help. That's awesome.
yeah. It was kind of, and then I did a job with another one of my clients. I went to Europe with them. That was a luxury motorhome company, and created some content for them. And then I think it was a month after I got back, um, she actually reached out and said, "Would you be interested in doing this?" And I hadn't worked alongside web developers or anything before, but I knew I could do it. So it was kind of one of those things where it's like, you know what? You lose every opportunity that you do not say yes to. So I expressed to her, this is where I'm at, but I'm very much so willing to learn and grow with you. And yeah, it just has somehow managed to work.
Okay, you touched on this briefly in one of your first answers, but how did you, if you want to expand on it at all, how did you learn the business side of this creative profession you do? Money management, taxes, marketing yourself, or outreach, the kind of operations side of things.
Yeah. So I guess myself as an individual, I've lived away from my parents live in Orange. I grew up in Orange. So the minute I turned 18, I moved straight to Sydney, and I've been very self-sufficient and independent for a decade now. So I guess I learned a lot of life skills in regards to having to invest money into certain things, or, there's certain things that require your attention for things to work. So I guess the money side of things, when I got back to Australia, because I'd been away for so many years, I actually got an accountant. I just thought it was one of those things where it's a short-term pain, long-term gain. You have to invest money to make money. And it's actually taking away time from me creating things if I'm trying to figure out the money side of things. And I may do it wrong, and with an ABN and things, it then gets complicated. I don't know what I can claim. So for me, an accountant was the smartest option.
What's the best thing about being self-employed, in your opinion, that you've found? What do you enjoy the most about working for yourself?
In all honesty, it's the people that I meet. And it's a really beautiful feeling to know that you were able to help someone with something that is essentially their baby. Like, they've come to you being like, "This is my idea. I don't know how to do this. Can we bring this to life?" And you were part of that process. You were part of creating something that they've been searching for. And I think that's a really wonderful thing. And people are really genuinely excited about working as a team with people, especially when it's something that they're building themselves. So I think it's definitely the people and the experiences I have with them when they're excited would definitely be and I genuinely love all the people that I work with. So it just brings you closer as a team and friends and everything. Can't put a price on it.
Yeah, that you don't get that in many other jobs. Creating something together and putting something out into the world, and that's a pretty special thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. All right. On the flip side, then, what
Mhm.
is the hardest or the worst thing about being self-employed?
Honestly, it would be, I would say, the quiet periods, or the hardest thing for me has been COVID, as with everyone, because my clients were in the travel and events sectors. That's why I lost them, because they lost all of their work, they lost their jobs. Like, it was a flow on effect which no one had. It was unprecedented. So that's definitely for me been the hardest part. And as well as losing everything that you've built, you then also can't see these people that were inspiring you. And I crave connection. Like, as a person, I really love building relationships and friendships and creating things. And that for me was the hardest part, was not being able to channel that with people that I cared about and care about still, obviously. But yeah, that's definitely been, oh, and another thing, the invoicing and chasing invoices, that drives me insane. Like, yo, you've got your contract, when you're supposed to be paying. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, you don't go and get your hair done and expect them to not pay them for 3 weeks because you just don't feel like it. Like, that for me was one of the most annoying things. I was like, why am I always chasing you? You've got your deliverables, please. I have to eat.
You can tell how much you care about that because your energy went from here to here as soon as you started talking about
I was
invoices.
thinking about it, I was like, that was the most annoying part. I remember even still I'm chasing invoices and I'm like, calm your farm, Annie. It's fine. You can't do anything about this. Yes.
Okay, on to more positive things then.
Yes.
What's been the high point so far of your self-employed career? Has there been a moment that you've thought like this is incredible, this is an amazing moment?
There's a lot of things that I'm proud of, but things that have made me really emotional in a positive way is when you get to experience all of these amazing memories while working with your best friends that you've met through either Instagram or a photographer friend of yours has introduced you to a new photographer or a model or something, and then you form these amazing relationships with them, and then you all get to collab and experience those things together. So it's just very exciting to be able to be part of a team with your best friends. That's definitely one of, well, would definitely be the highest for me.
Okay, so if you could give your past self some advice
Mhm.
to make to get to where you are today, to make that any easier, what advice would you give your past self
The
aside from
main
late fees on invoices?
yeah, changing your contract and making sure that there's something a little more intense. The advice would be to take every opportunity that you get, even if it scares the crap out of you, do it. And if that scares you, still do it. But even more so, even if you have to fake it till you make it, I don't care. You are going to do this. And you will succeed because you've been given an opportunity rather than you just sitting at home feeling sorry for yourself about the fact you may not be able to do it.
So what's next for you? What are you working on at the moment, or future plans that you might be able to give a hint towards?
So at the moment, I'm working on building my print store. So that's going to be called the House of Kind. So at the moment, I'm in the development phase. So I've just done my style guiding. I've done the superimposing for the images. I know exactly what I want everything to look like. Now it's just building the website to actually be able to sell the products. So I'm working on that. I was working on this pre-COVID, but working on creating a creative agency. So for people like us that because a lot of the time people will come to me, but I can't do web developing, for example, or I can't do graphic design, I can't do certain things. So I would love to create an agency where it's a one-stop shop for people to be able to do that and also help my friends. So my really talented friends, because often they work a 9 to 5 for an agency and I see all of their potential. And for me, I'm like, you can do this on your own. And I know that's scary and a lot of people don't want to do that because normality is more comfortable for others. But yeah, that's another thing I'm working on. And now that all of the things happened this morning with new job offers and things, you have to figure out what that looks like as well. So what the deliverables are, what contracts look like, back to business, which is exciting.
That
Yeah.
is really exciting. And the creative agency, that's a great idea. So it's
Yeah.
kind of you're like that one-stop shop for whatever the typical client would be looking for with each step of
Yeah.
their project then.
So I have a lot of people come to me saying, "Can you do X, Y, and Z?" And I can only do X and Y. But can't do the Z, and the Z is so crucial. So because I've got so many different friends with so many different talents, I just want to have us all be able to create beautiful things together. And I'll primarily do the creative direction. So I'll coordinate between the companies and the team, and then do the creation side of things and have people doing the graphic design, web developing, whatever needs to be done. Um, so yeah, I guess I'll be the creative director is kind of the vision for the agency, and then have people that freelance.
Through your years of kind of growing your career and your clients and this type of thing, have you come across any resources that have helped you that you could recommend to people who are wanting to get into the same line of work? This could be books or podcasts or audio books or blogs, anything that really kind of
Um,
inspired you.
I'm trying to think. Often I love studying psychology in my spare time. So a lot of the podcasts and things that I listen to are based on human behavior and understanding those type of things. So that helps me when I do target marketing, for example, because I can understand kind of what different demographics or where people what age they are, where they're based. It's for me, it's more. Um, I'm more of a practical person, so I learn through my experiences, like my own personal experiences. I'm trying to think of things that have helped. I often just have found that the things that have inspired me the most is working alongside other people that have, maybe been doing it for a bit longer than me, or they maybe specialize in a different type of photography than me. So we'll travel together, we'll teach each other different things that either one of us have. So it's very much so, for me personally, it's like a hands-on personal experience with people, and um, just learning through trial and error as well. With photography, it's one of those things where the more you shoot, the more you learn. So just trying to go out in different lighting, trying to understand what your tool can do has helped me massively. And also doing shoots that you haven't done before. Yeah, it's
So it's
hands-on,
kind
I
of
guess.
just exposing yourself to as many things as you can really
Yes.
leads you in so many new directions of things you could explore then and try out.
Yes. Yeah. For me, that's been what I've mainly done. So if I see someone that inspires me on Instagram, or someone that I'm wanting to collab with, if it was a model or something, and I think that they would look beautiful in a certain aesthetic, about creating with those people and growing from that has helped me massively. Trying to think, yeah, I just love reading psychology books and listening to podcasts on humans. It's just my weird thing I have.
Do you have a favorite one?
Ooh, the one that I'm reading at the moment is amazing. It's called The Laws of Human Nature, which it's like 700 pages long, but it's really, really incredible. Oh, The Untethered Soul was another one that
Okay.
really, really um, helped me massively, just more so with backing myself as an individual and not allowing the self-doubt to creep in and let that be the contributing factor, because I know there's been times in my career where I've been like, well, I didn't study photography at university, and society tells me that if I didn't study at university, then I don't know what I'm doing. So it's about being like, no, that's actually not the current climate that we live in. There's so many, you can't teach talent at the end of the day. And if it's like everyone can sing, some people just shouldn't. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like trial and error. Like there's things, I'm not good at numbers. Like numbers don't make sense to me, but I'm more of a visual person. So for me, I learned through visualizing plans or whatever it may be. But yeah.
Where can people follow you online? Where's the best place for them to keep up with all the projects that you're doing now and that you just talked about coming soon?
So at the moment, it would just be my Instagram, because there's nothing live at the moment. And on my main Instagram is the links to my print shop and my photography work. So that kind of all ties in together.